Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. This is Smart Business Moves.
Hey, y'all. I'm excited, Tom. It has been a long time since we're on Smart Business Moves.
Yeah, it has been. What is 2 weeks, maybe? Has it been? It seems like longer.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. Yeah, we were last on the 13th, April 13th.
We were working last week. We didn't have time for such frivolous nonsense as Smart Business Moves. We were actually working.
We actually were working really, really hard. I did not see everything that you did, but every time I saw you, you were busy and at your most focused. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing? What's next? What's coming up? So how'd the event go?
It went awesome. We did our Made Central Academy Live event last week.
Yeah.
We did it on Tuesday and Wednesday, followed by another awesome bonus event led by Liz Trotter and Cleaning Profit Builders. And I mean, we had like 40 people there. You had like 40 people there, right?
I think we ended up having 34 people.
Okay, close. It was cozy. We had kind of full house. We're doing it again. We're doing it again in May, right?
Yep, May. But this time we're flip-flopped, right? I'm doing it.
You're doing it like Monday, Tuesday. We're doing it Wednesday, Thursday.
And we're doing it. It's directly after Easter, which is weird. Hey, Susan, so much in your head. Hey, Leslie, long time no see. That's good to see you, Leslie. Yeah, I love that picture of her. That was her wedding picture.
Guess who's here? Our guest, and our special surprise guest today is.
I'm in the house.
Hey, Dan.
How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just messing with my audio settings, trying to figure out how the heck to get technology to work because I'm just a nerdy bookkeeper. I don't know how to use all this stuff.
You can't be awesome at everything.
That's right. I'm very not awesome at most things, so I'm right in line.
I think you're being way too modest. I think that you understand this tech thing a little bit better than you're playing.
Yeah.
Well, but we'll let you slide on that.
I don't think so. I'm getting older and older by the day, and I'm like, I don't know if there's like an age where you start neglecting technology intentionally, and you're like, nope, I'm just not going to learn that. I refuse. I feel like I'm in that age.
Okay, Dan, you need to not be getting there this early. I'm an
old soul. I'm an old soul.
No, you can't do it this early.
All right.
Your volume is really loud, though.
I can be farther away.
I don't think that changed a thing. Is his volume
hold on,
or just on my end?
I'll turn it down.
You're overmodulating a little bit.
I'm a loud human. Is that better? I turned it down a smidge. Is that better?
Just a smidge. Are you on a Windows or Mac?
I'm on a Windows, but I'm.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Yeah,
that was better.
That's a little bit better. Yeah.
Oh, here. Oh, hold on.
Perfect.
That was good.
Yeah.
You're probably on the wrong microphone, weren't you?
Yeah, I was on the wrong microphone.
Oh, now you sound really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you sound perfect. Yeah. Before, what I kept doing was turning it down when Dan talks, turning it up for Tom, down for Tom.
I'm glad we got it figured out. See, like I said, I don't know how all this stuff works. I just start clicking buttons, see what happens. Somebody will let me know if it doesn't sound good.
I think it's probably just because you're drunk.
I haven't had a beer yet. So I'm doing my 30 extra medium where I have to like work out to get beers. Good reward system. And since I'm in Minnesota, I put on, some insulation in the winter and then I got to shut it off in the spring. So my beer number is counted. It's like a pitch count for a baseball player.
Oh, well, this is very fun. I've never heard of this. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, most baseball players, they get like 80 or so pitches in a game, maybe, So, I mean, you can be pretty.
I can earn like 20 beers in a week. Spread them out. I just it takes a lot of, exercising, but I've got my incentive plan built for myself.
Then I guess it depends on what type of beers they are too, right?
Yeah, I just like they're binary to me. It's either a beer or not a beer. So when I have beer, I just make sure it's a big high test beer.
You get your money's worth. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, especially if you're not exercising a lot and you're only getting 10 beers, you're gonna have to have higher volume.
That's the problem in the winter is I don't exercise much at all because I like exercising outside, and it's hard to exercise outside when it's like it was below zero every day this winter here.
Oh, wow.
And then I still drink beer because I'm out ice fishing, so it's hard to. hence why I need to get back to it in the springtime. It's like reverse hibernation, right? Like bears come out of hibernation and they just keep eating. I come out of hibernation and I need to do
drinking.
So, I fish, a little bit myself. I've never iced fish before, but I've talked to people who have, and I kind of looked at the whole dynamics of it. And be honest, is it really about the fishing, or is that just an excuse that you can go out and drink beer?
Yeah, absolutely, just an excuse to go hang out and call it. It's like kind of networking, right? It's like, we'll go out and. In the picture you paint is like grumpy old men, and you're in these little shanties, right? Or you're sitting out on 5-gallon buckets. We're sitting inside of like a camper out on the ice. You're watching TV. You're making a pizza in the oven. And then every once in a while you pull a fish through the floor. It's not. It's really not roughing.
And when it happens, it's almost an inconvenience. Oh man,
it's like
mess with this fish now.
We're playing this card game. There's a fish biting over here. Like, we got to stop what we're doing and go catch that fish. It totally is an inconvenience.
I actually always thought ice fishing looked way more fun than regular fishing just because of that. There's all of that other stuff to do. Play cards, talk, versus just sit.
Yeah. You're out of the elements, when you're doing it that way. So you can my wife and kids come and there's games and coloring books, and it's like it's a whole activity set. It's all kinds of silly stuff going on.
Yeah.
But when you're regular fishing, though, I mean, you're out communing with nature, and like if you're in a boat, you can like go see lots of really cool stuff, and it doesn't even really matter if you catch any fish or not. It's just the whole experience of being out there and doing it.
Right.
Tom, do not push your boring fishing on us.
Okay.
Boring fishing. I like the boring fishing stuff.
Tom he loves to fish too. I know. Yeah.
Need to come on down to Charleston. We'll
you probably got better fishing. You probably got better fishing down there than I do in the Twin Cities here, but at least more fun fish to catch.
We got a variety for sure. When we were kind of starting before you got here, Dan, I'll just to kind of put a bow on it. Liz and I were sharing. We did live training last week in Charleston. We did one of our May Central Academy Alive events last week. We've been doing about one a month. And Liz, you want to just take a second and explain what your program was about?
Sure.
What stuff you guys did?
Yeah. We did a program called the Employee Life Cycle. And basically what we did is took everybody through the entire life cycle, assuming that your employees, after going through this program, will be with you for at least 3 years. How do you create value at every single step of the game for your employees so that they feel like they can't leave? They don't want to leave. There is no desire for them to leave your companies. So, it was really impactful. I've gotten the best feedback from this event than I've gotten from any event that we've ever done. That's including foundations. People are just pumped. So it's, I think it's because it's short term too, and they're coming off of Made Central. So it's like, okay, I got all of this Made Central stuff. Now I'm getting this employee stuff. I feel like I can go home powerful. People are going home just like super excited. And all the managers, there were so many managers there that I think that made a big difference too. Did you find that for Made Central too, Tom?
Yeah. A lot of companies brought, at least 2 people.
Yeah.
And I think that's helpful.
Yeah. The people that are actually using the programs.
That's the biggest epiphany I've had in my businesses is that so many coaching things or leadership things are all geared towards me. And I don't matter. I'm almost irrelevant, right? Like I need my team to get trained and get leadership experience and understand how the softwares work. Doesn't matter if I do it.
Yeah. And they're more excited about it. It's so funny, right? Mm-hmm. The managers were just so excited about everything and sharing numbers and wanting to know, how do you get this and how do you do that? And yeah, they were really excited.
The questions asked are a lot more relevant because they're actually doing the jobs. You know, when you know, the owners are asking questions, it's more conceptual a lot of times. Not to say that they're bad questions, but it really just doesn't get to the heart of, well, how am I going to do my job every day?
I bet one thing that is really nice about having the managers there too is, I mean, I could be wrong about this, but I saw this in my event, that the managers aren't trying to just jack up your system. They're just, teach me how to work the system the correct way. And they want to do it the best possible way. And it seems like the owners are always like, well, how can I tweak it and do it my way and do this other thing, where the managers are like, just tell me how to do it. I just want to get it done. I want to do it right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that.
So we'll be talking more about this, I guess, in the coming days. We've got another series of these we're doing in May. We're sold out on the May Central side. Do you have any openings in?
We do have some openings. We actually have one VIP opening left too. So it's fun. Yeah.
You get the conference. You get the nice the paneled conference room if you're a VIP.
That's true. You do get that. You get
any executive washroom with the shower and the jetted tub.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Yeah, Tom, I saw you sneaking in there, but you're always a VIP in my book, so it's cool.
That's cool. Dan, how the heck are you, man? What you been up to?
I have been just traveling a little too much and working a little too hard. So I'm like ready for a vacation, but it's this always like baffles me a little bit. And I obsess about our bookkeeping business. And I work nonstop on that. And I would always think like December and January would be like the busiest time, right? Because that's when a lot of home service businesses slow down. Mm-hmm. But everybody kind of waits till now. And then they're like, oh crap, bookkeeping. Like that's not like, either they didn't have it last year and they're like, oh my God, like yeah, I did my taxes, but I have no idea what's going on in my business. So then they sign up, or they're like, oh crap, I need to do my taxes and I have nothing. And I sent my stuff to my CPA and they just went, no. Like I have a few of those right now. It was just like, nope. And I was like, yeah. And the CPA won't fix it. Right. Cause they're like, I'm not a bookkeeper. Like get your books in order and then we'll do your taxes. So I think last week I had 18 demos and this week I have 15, and it's like, it's a gauntlet of as fast as we can possibly go. We hired 5 more bookkeepers in the last 2 weeks. So it's awesome. It's awesome stuff. I'm excited for a couple fishing vacations. I got like the last 2 weeks of May off, one to go like Boundary Waters, which I actually think it's still going to be frozen. It's supposed to be like a canoe fishing trip, but I don't think we'll be able to get out. I think we're going to need ice skates. And then I've got a Lake Erie fishing trip with Sean, with our boy Sean Day, to go out walleye fishing with him for a week. So I got the vacation plan. So like now I'm just keeping my head down, just book, work, sell, sign people up, onboard them, and turn it over to our team of badass bookkeepers.
Nice.
So,
I love that.
Tax season is good for your business.
We don't do taxes for people, at least not yet. We actually, last night I had a call. I'll explain a little bit of the rationale here, but I do have a CPA on our team. She did the CPA thing in the corporate world. She did the stay-at-home mom thing for 5-6 years, and then kind of said, okay, my kids are getting old. I'm gonna go back and just wanted to like work part-time. And then she was like, well, I love doing bookkeeping for like small businesses. She didn't have that experience in the corporate world, right? It was like, it was stuffy and not the way Blue Skies is. And so she was like, I love this. I love working with us. I love working with our small business clients. Should I go back and like get my CPA thing? Cause I keep talking to our clients and they all need tax help. And I was like, if you love the tax side of it, yes, but bookkeeping and taxes are 2 different things. It's like, it would be like your salesperson being your customer service person, or your cleaner being your salesperson. Like they're 2 totally different skill sets. Every once in a while you can find a CPA that's a good bookkeeper, a bookkeeper that's a CPA, but super rare because the point of both is super different. Bookkeeping, the client is the business owner. It's a decision-making tool. It's not the client isn't the CPA. If a CPA is doing bookkeeping it oftentimes is that they're doing it for themselves. They're not actually doing it for the business owner. And if you're like, oh, my CPA does my bookkeeping, like think about how often they do it. Like, are they doing it weekly for you? Because you need data weekly, or are they doing it monthly or quarterly? Or are they sending you a report that's just like, here's the download from QuickBooks? Or are they actually like organizing it and sending you graphs and charts that's aligned to your business model? Most of the time when an accountant that does taxes is doing bookkeeping, they do it for themselves. They organize it so they can put it into their tax software. And then they just tell you that, yeah, we did your books. But they don't do it for you. They just do it for themselves. So I do think, I mean, we have so many bookkeeping clients, and we do the data side of it for them. We're like the CFO. We help them make business decisions to grow their business, and that's what the bookkeeping is about. But they also all need a good CPA, and good CPAs are hard to find. So I know we have a good one on our team. It was just a matter of like whether or not she wanted to start a business, because I told her, I was like, I think this has to be a separate entity. I don't think it's part of the same business as our bookkeeping business. And selfishly, you need to own 51% of it, because if you leave, I don't want to be stuck with a bookkeeping with a CPA firm on my hands. I'm not a CPA, and I don't want to be. I'll be the business partner in it, and I can help grow it like crazy. And we have a few hundred bookkeeping clients, and we'll have a few hundred more that'll be like the fuel for the CPA business. But so we'll probably start it as a separate business and then kind of work them together so that we can help all of our bookkeeping clients do stuff too. So that ever expansion of business and trying to figure out which shiny object to chase, you know?
Yeah. I wish I didn't know about that, Dan. I really wish I didn't know about that.
we all learned that lesson.
Yeah. But I would think that tax season is still good for bookkeeping, because people recognize, you know what? They're actually looking at their numbers. They're looking at their P&L, and they're like, okay, I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
They're looking at that shoebox full of receipts, figuring out, what am I going to do with these?
Yep.
Do I need to? And I can see them just finally looking at their finances and thinking, okay, I have to do something. This isn't working.
That's probably it, because I'm biased, because I look at our numbers, you know, I won't say daily. I look at our bank accounts daily, but I look at our P&Ls every single week. And so to me, I'm just like, oh, of course everybody looks at their numbers every single week. Like, you'd be crazy not to. But yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there that probably look at it when it's tax time, and then they go like, let's count the chips now. And that's probably why I get a few more phone calls this time of year.
I'll tell you, in our circles, one of the things that we make them do is look at their numbers every single week. You have to. Mm-hmm. And it takes some people, I'm thinking of one person in particular, that it took her almost 9 months to be able to get to a place where she could make herself look at her numbers every single week. She's like, she'd go like 2 or 3 weeks. She'd be like, yay, I've got it. And then no, 2 more weeks. Just a struggle for some people to even look at their numbers.
Yep. Well, and I think if you don't have a good bookkeeper, or if your tax person is doing your books, or if you're doing them and you don't quite know accounting, it's really easy to just be scared of it because it doesn't make sense. If you open it up and it's not organized in a way that a cleaning company needs to see it, it's like playing Tetris with your eyes closed. Like, there's just no way to make heads or tails of it. And so there's a huge value in having somebody like Blue Skies and there's other bookkeeping companies that do a great job too, but having somebody that can organize it in a way that a home cleaning company needs it to be organized, right? Your CPA probably has manufacturing companies that they do taxes for, and they probably have, construction companies that they do different tax or accounting things for. Like, having an industry specific bookkeeper that actually like knows how you make money and how you make decisions, super important, right? Like, so it doesn't surprise me that people are afraid to look at their numbers, because if they're not organized in a way that you can use them, I'd be afraid of it too.
Yeah. And don't know what they're looking at. They're afraid they're going to see numbers they don't like. They don't know how to work with. They don't understand. So, I love the piece that you said about, sorry, Tom, you like the way I just keep not letting you talk, Tom?
No, I'm good. I'm just.
All right. This one thing I really want to say is I love what you said, Dan, about having an industry specific bookkeeper, just because, I don't know, when it's industry, I really like going outside of the industry, absolutely, for a lot of things. But there are some things that being industry specific really is helpful for. It can help you move forward so much faster. I feel like bookkeeping is one of those.
And like, Made Central, right? Yeah, like you could go get a CRM that works for everybody, but it's not going to be totally dialed in for your business the way that you need it to be. So there's some things that just works really good to have something that's dialed in for exactly what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It's what we do at Made Central and what you do in the bookkeeping side. There's a lot of similarities because you've got the numbers and the numbers are telling you something, but that's just part of it. You got to be able to go back a step and ask yourself, well, what do I do inside of my business to make these numbers go in the direction I want them to go? And that's where being industry specific helps.
Yeah.
You know, a bookkeeper, somebody who understands financial statements and how to put together a chart of accounts, they can tell you what your numbers are, but it's like, okay, well, what do I do in my business to get the results that I'm looking for? How do I improve this? And they can tell you generally, but they really don't know what it's like to run a home service business. So they're really going to be limited. But you guys are able to get down into the nuts and bolts. Well, there's a long list of things that you can be doing. Let's break it down.
Yep. And when we report it back to our clients, we show it in 5 categories usually, and it's all based on different types of decisions. So first category is cost of goods sold, right? What does it cost you to go out and actually do the thing and get the result? And when I do a demo with people, I always like talk them through this just so they understand how to read the thing. We don't send up a 50 line item P&L that crosses their eyes and they get lost. Literally 5 line items. And it's a summary of these decisions. So the first one, cost of goods sold, was it cost you to go clean the thing, right?
Yeah.
That leaves you with your gross margin. I tell all of our clients, that's your reinvestment number. As a business owner, the minute you go clean something, in home cleaning, about 60% of our money is gone. We have about 40% left to reinvest in the business and to pay ourselves with. So
to help our audience to make sure we're on the same page, when you say cost of goods sold, for the most part, that's the money you pay your cleaning technicians, right?
Yep, cleaning technicians, and depending on how you, if you have company cars or not, or if you buy supplies for your cleaners, like those direct costs, the fuel to get them out to the job, maybe the supplies for them to clean the job. I put customer damages and repairs in there because I cleaned some houses and I broke shit all over the place. Like I'm not.
The largest part of that would be the salary, the actual money to your cleaners.
Yep. By far, the largest part would be the wages. But it's not where all the wages go. Some of the wages go in like an administrative section because they're not the ones out getting the result, right? So it's super important that we designate who's out cleaning stuff and who's in the office working behind the scenes, and we measure that too. Mm-hmm. Liz, I cut you off there. What were you saying?
Oh, yeah, no worries. I was trying to cut you off and you wouldn't let me. Dang
I know. You're used to Tom where he's quiet, where he's like gets quiet, and I'm like,
I just sit here and watch.
I'm usually really good at cutting people off, but man, you are good. All right, my question was, when you're setting yours up, do you include workers' comp?
Yeah, I put that in the cost. Yep.
Okay. I feel like that's a lot. Sometimes I see people in California not wanting to put their workers' comp up there. I blame them. Yeah, so I can't say I blame them though. All right, go ahead.
No, and there's some gray area ones that there's always a judgment call, right? We put workers' comp there because we generally hold our production managers accountable for cost of goods sold. Like it's all costs that happen in the field. Safety is the thing that happens in the field, and therefore we put workers' comp into cost of goods sold because we want our production manager to be thinking about safety and how much it costs them because they are bonused based on cost of goods sold. One that's like even more trivial than that would be merchant processing. So when you run a credit card, you have to pay like 3%, right? Mm-hmm. Since we view cost of goods sold as the cost to do a job, and part of the cost of doing a job is getting paid for it, we include that in cost of goods sold because it's a direct cost to going out and doing the job. Now, I've had bookkeeping clients of ours move that to like admin because like I don't want to penalize my manager for making a call. And in maid service, I think that would make sense to like debate whether it should be there or not. But my thought is, if I like in our pressure washing business, if I send a guy out and he does $1,000 job, I don't want him swiping a credit card. I don't feel like paying $30 to Visa to swipe that card. Just get a check. I'll pay you $20 to go run it to the bank. And so we actually do have like $1,000 threshold. If a job is over $1,000, don't take a card. Make sure you get a check. And that's out in the field, and that's a decision we need our technicians to enforce. And so if merchant processing gets too high, it's because they're usually swiping cards for $1,000 plus jobs, and it's costing us a lot. So they need to ding their cost of goods sold, and then their bonus goes down. So that's why we put merchant processing in there too. Again, it's just like, it's part of the cost of doing a job. We got to get paid for it. So that's cost of goods sold. That's the stuff where it's like, we go out and do a job, and we never, as a business owner, that money's already gone. It's already spent in a way we never even get to see it. So Tom, you had pointed out, like, that's the majority of that's wages. There's a few other things we put in there, and that leaves us like 40% to reinvest in our business.
And the reason, not to beat the drum on the wages too much, 3% on the credit card's material, and I would include that workers' comp as material. I mean, include everything you can, but I've seen a lot of owners like spend a whole lot of time trying to find a better deal on window cleaner, where that's like a fraction of 1% of their variable cost, while completely ignoring the productivity they're getting out of their cleaning technicians. And
yep.
you're looking, a lot of times we can allow ourselves to look in the wrong places because it's easier and less pushback to trick yourself into thinking that you're managing those costs when
yep.
you're just playing air guitar.
And one of the reasons why I like the way we structure our P&L when we send it out is it solves that problem of, like, it shows you right where the problem is against the business model. So instead of trying to solve an infrastructure decision with a wage thing, or a wage issue with an infrastructure decision, right? Like you said, Tom, people will like hide from the real problem and try to solve a different problem that doesn't move the needle. When we're sending them a report, it's like, you're green, yellow, or red. You're green if you beat the target for that decision set. You're yellow if you're close, and you're red if you miss it. Like, there's no hiding from where the impact needs to be made. Like, you can see where you're off, and you can see what the business model should be, and then you can work on the decisions to get you back in line. It's not just here's the P&L report from QuickBooks. It's here's a color-coded P&L against the percentages that you need to shoot for if you're running a maid service business, so that you can spit out a 10% profit margin after you take a wage. Not 10% including your wage. Like, the business needs to make 10% while you're sitting on a beach. So, like, you got to design it to hit those profit margins when you're operating it.
Okay.
So
I do have one thing
you may,
real quick before we move on. What I do tell a lot of people is that there is, hey, see, you need Dan. Well, I'm sure he hears that a lot. We're going to tell you how to get a hold of him. Good to see you, Celicia. So one thing that I tell people a lot is, whatever you have, however you're doing it, there is no one exact right way. There is a lot of stuff that is kind of soft and squishy in there, especially in cost of goods sold, what you're going to put up there. The thing that you do that is not squishy and is not negotiable is track it the same way all the time. Just continue to keep all of those numbers in the same place so that you can track them year over year. You can see what's growing. You can see what's shrinking. You can see, you can watch the movement, because then you can actually take some action. You can see what numbers, like in Tom in Maid Central, we're able to see the green numbers. Those numbers need to go up, and the red numbers, numbers need to go down. So it sounds very similar to what you have going on here, Dan. Yeah, you're in the red, you're not doing well. You're in the green, yeah, you're doing great. So having those, if you're not tracking the same way all the time, none of that has any meaning.
Yeah, it's hard to hit moving targets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I like that. I like that way of saying it. All right, so go ahead.
Tom seemed like he had something to say, but I feel like if you and I...
you're good. I just wanted to, we've got like 5 metrics. So we've got cost of goods sold, and you were talking about gross profit, I believe.
Yep. Yeah. So your cost of goods sold, like I said, that's money just out the door right off the bat. As a business owner, like, it's hardly even your money, right? The minute you get the revenue in, that 60-ish% is already spent. So you got 40% left. There's 4 different things we invest in to grow our business. So we still have a bunch of expenses left. The rest of the expenses aren't to do the work. They're all to grow the business. And it generally happens in this order. The first thing that we do is go find our next client. So we spend money on marketing, the ads, the person to run the ads, the yard signs, the flyers, the software so like Maid Central, I wouldn't is included as like a marketing software, but something like Responsibid, that's like a website tool to bid, or a Nice Job or a Broadly to get Google reviews, I'd call that marketing. If it's like meant to get leads in the door and brand your business, it's all client acquisition cost related decisions. So that's usually the first investment we make after we get our gross margin. Okay, let's go find our next client. You get a bunch of leads coming in, and then somebody needs to answer the phone and give them an estimate and customer service them. And probably somebody needs to do the bookkeeping once you have so much of it that you can't tell what's going on in your business. So now the second investment you make is in your people infrastructure. It's in the people to run the business. And oftentimes that's us early on. And we like get out of the field, and then we're the people infrastructure. And eventually we hire a virtual assistant or an office manager or a couple of them to like really run the business behind the scenes. They don't go out and clean anything. They take care of the customers and the processes behind the scenes. I view that investment, super critical investment. That is the hardest investment to manage in our business. Cost of goods sold, we know like managing that group of people can be really challenging, but it's generally pretty easy to see if they're doing a good job. People in the field, if it's a 3-hour job and it takes them 6 hours, it's like, what the hell are you guys doing out there? Or if it's a 6-hour job and it takes them 3 hours, you're kind of like, what were you doing out there? And our clients give us pretty immediate feedback, and we can tell really quickly if we're hitting those numbers or not. Like Tom said earlier, like we can tell if we're being productive or not. Fixing it isn't always the easiest thing in the world, but we can tell. It's way harder for us to tell if our administrative people are being productive because they're working at a computer and they're talking busy and they look busy. And when you ask them how their day is going, they're like, oh my God, I'm so busy. But like, are they busy working on the right things, or are they just watching cat videos on YouTube? I've been busy with a lot of stuff that wasn't productive before. So are they doing the right things to grow the revenue, or are they just doing work for the sake of work, or maybe not even doing work? So administrative overhead, I think, is a super important line item to carve out of your overhead costs and measure it. In our business, in our Minneapolis window cleaning business and pressure washing business this last year, we got up to like 1.1 million. We did about 750 the year before. We grew to just under 1.1 million. We had 4 people in the office. We had an office manager, a scheduler, dispatcher role, a salesperson out in the field, like bidding new jobs. And then we had my business partner doing general management. And that was great in the busy season. And then Q3 hit when everybody in Minnesota in July, August, September is like up at their cabin, and then school's starting and they're just thinking about other things. And we were looking at that administrative overhead line, and we were in the red 3 months in a row. And we just like, it was like, all right, non-emotionally, we love everybody, but somebody's got to go. Like the business can't afford this. We're outside the business model. Now, the funny part about this was I was on a Zoom, like looking at our P&L with my business partner. And I'm like, okay, we got Leah in the office. She's our office manager. She pretty much runs the show. She's a small little Asian gal, and all the guys I think are really afraid of her. She's just super stern. She's very like military, like nothing gets past her. No drama. She's freaking awesome at her job. Okay, she's not going anywhere. Well, like, she's locked in. She's right person in the right seat on the bus. Tracy is our scheduling dispatching person, and she's in her 60s. She retired from the corporate world, but doesn't like to not work. And so she was like, yeah, like 20 hours a week, 60 hours a week. Just tell me what you need. I just want to be busy. I want to be doing something. I want to be adding value. She's phenomenal. She can like sell anything over the phone. She can customer service it. It's like, okay, well, Tracy's not going anywhere. Sin was a technician of ours that she was out in the field, like hauling the ladders around, carrying all the stuff, cleaning all the windows. And she just said, it's just beating me up. It's a little too physical. So she was actually going to leave the business and go get a job working at the mall and like retail. And we're like, no way. Like, you're not leaving. All the customers love you too much. And you're the top upsell person we have. So we moved her into the sales role, and she's crushing it. Our average job size went up. Our close rate went up. It's like, okay, well, those 3 are covered. I'm looking at Andy. I'm like, man, I feel like the weak link is you, buddy. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And he like laughingly, he's like, it totally is. And he's like, I'm general managing, right? Our business is 1.1 million. It's not big enough to have 4 people in the office at this rate. And it can't pay somebody to not clean something or sell something, right? If all he's doing is building processes, there's no he built great processes. Our team is as engaged as they've ever been, doing a great job of general managing, but it causes us to not hit our P&L metrics. So we could have said, okay, one of the other girls has to go out into the field or go sell some more stuff or something. Instead, Andy was like, I'm going to go hang Christmas lights all fall because we have about $80,000 worth of Christmas lights to hang. Nice. And so he was like, I got to go back out in the field. I got to go generate revenue, and I'm going back into cost of goods sold. I can't be in the admin line. Nice. And when all of a sudden our admin costs fell right back in line. So he was the weak link. He had to get back out in the field and go clean some stuff. But it was like, and we're always gun shy of going back out in the field, right? It's like, no, I finally worked so hard to get out of the field. But somebody had to go. Somebody had to go produce some revenue because we didn't need more people sitting in the office. And it might not have had to be him. But in this case, it's just like there's 4 of us here. Mathematically, one of us has to go produce some revenue. And I'm the best person to go produce the revenue. And he wasn't shy about it. He was like, it'll be nice to go out and like do some hard work and get my hands dirty for a few months. So he loved it. But that's how we use the P&L. It's like, it's just math, and it tells us exactly what we need to do. And then we just got to reckon with the decision of like, what's the best thing to do with where we need to go with it.
And if you didn't have your P&L on a regular basis, I mean, you need to be able to look at them on a weekly basis. You didn't have that, you'd be burning cash week after week, and you might not have even known it until one day whoever's like doing payroll says, hey, we need some money in the bank to make payroll this week. Yep,
exactly. And like, we knew it was an administrative issue. If we didn't have the P&L broken down the way that we do, we would have been trying to solve any number of problems, right? We've been like, oh, where's our money going? We're probably paying too much for supplies. Like Tom said, we got to stop. We got to get
the window cleaner. We got to find a cheaper window cleaner.
Yeah, it's got to be it. But the P&L just tells us like, well, we know that the issue is administrative. Administrative is pretty much all wages for people in the office. So let's solve that problem. Either the 4 people we have need to get us 200,000 of revenue next month instead of 100,000, or somebody's got to go clean it so we can try to get towards 200,000
more money. We got to grow out of this, or we gotta clean up our P&L until then. All right, so we got 3 line items.
We got 3 line items. So we've got our marketing as our first investment. Our administrative people are our second investment. The third investment we make after we have these administrative people is like, oh gosh, we need a new location to fit all these people, or we need a new software to handle all this, like Made Central, or we need more internet capacity to handle all the people that are showing up in the office and are on their phones and tapping into our Wi-Fi. You need all this infrastructure as you grow. It blows my mind how many softwares we added in the last year. It was like we needed the GPS tracking in the vehicles, and we needed TrainUL, and we needed Company Cam, and there was another one that we added. It was like all of a sudden we're spending at least $1,000 a month on softwares we never had before. But we have 14 dudes out driving these transit vans in Minneapolis. Like, we need that infrastructure so that we can keep tabs on everybody. It's not just me and a few other dudes and I have their cell phone number and I can check in on them. So from your rent bill to your liability insurance, your fixed overhead costs, those investments are all like fixed, right? They're locked in, they're proactive. It's like, I'm going to sign up for this thing and I'm going to pay the bill every month. So it just is that if you do twice as much revenue next month or half as much revenue next month, these bills are all still the same.
Still the same.
So the only way to like fix your fixed costs is to cut some expenses or to grow your revenue. There's really no other way around it. It's not a people thing. It's just we signed up for too much stuff, or this thing's not giving us a return on that investment, or whatever the case is. But I also find that bucket of expenses is nice to use proactively. And like, if we're looking at renting a new facility, we can look at our P&L and say, can I afford a new facility? Or maybe like if I'm spending $1,000 or $2,000 a month on rent because I got to get out and run this business for my house, how much revenue do I need to be able to do to afford it? Right? Like, I can't go rent a facility. I can't rent a facility and tell all my customers they owe me more money because I just dumped $20,000 a year into rent, right? Your customers
and send them a picture of the new building. Like,
yeah, look what this new place, all my employees get to come. I like it. It's good. Like, we want our employees to have a place they can call home, and probably increases retention and productivity. We can't. Our clients won't pay us anymore because of it. So it's like, when can I afford to rent a location? Well, if you have a good P&L that tells you how much you should spend on fixed overhead, you'll know exactly when you can afford to rent a location. And you'll know if you go spend this much, you better grow your revenue by this much to be able to afford it. So it just helps, even like I said, proactively making those decisions. So we got our marketing investment to find more clients. And then we have our people investment to have people in the office to run the business. We have this infrastructure investment to give them a cubicle to sit in and a phone to answer and a Made Central system to use. And then the last one is variable investments. So fixed costs are all like proactive. We sign up for something, we pay a bill every month. Variable costs are all reactive. Hey, we had a record month. Let's throw a party. I'm sure Liz is all about that, right? Let's do something cool, employee engagement related. Or I just had 3 employees quit in one day. I have a bookkeeping client that happened like the day we were doing our demo. She probably spent some money on Indeed recruiting ads that day, right? It's like a reactive, I need to solve this problem, and the way I'm going to solve it is with some money. So, vacuums breaking, repairs and maintenance expenses going there. It's all one-time frugality. Going to a live event that you guys do, the travel, the meals and entertainment, the hotel, all of that is a one-time, like, hey, am I going to go do this or am I not going to go do this? And I got to get a return on this investment. So it ebbs and flows any given month, but over time, we should still keep it in line with our business model, and still have some profit left at the end of the day. So again, like, the investments tend to happen in that order. They don't have to, but logically it makes a lot of sense. We spend the money on marketing, then we need the people to handle all the leads, then we need the infrastructure handled, and then we got to send them to a training event so they can like learn how to do their job better. Hopefully we make 10% in a maid service business when that's all said and done. And we're part of the admin team usually. So we're part of that cost and that infrastructure, that people infrastructure. We're getting a wage too. I think that's super important.
So I think it's interesting that you have recruiting down there as a variable expense, but you have your marketing up as one of your top lines. One of the first things that you do, especially I find it interesting because you have Blue Skies recruiting.
I made that comment to somebody the other day. I was like, marketing's like the first thing, but in this labor market, I almost feel like we should break recruiting out as its own bucket because it's more important than our marketing right now.
Yeah, it's like definitely like it's happening every single month without fail.
I mean, it's pretty much a best practice. At least a lot of people would suggest. I would suggest. I think Liz, Dan, you probably agree as well that to some degree you always want to be recruiting, even if you're fully staffed, because if you're fully staffed, that's just a temporary condition. So you need to have people in the pipeline.
You know our tagline, right, Tom? Always be
No.
The ABCs of recruiting. The ABCs. Always be recruiting.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking it. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's their tagline.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. I think we probably do need to move recruiting to its own bucket and put it right above marketing, because you can't market to clients if you don't have employees. Yeah. So,
I vote you do it. It's done. Let's just go ahead and we'll roll that out next month.
I did notice in a couple of our businesses over the last few months, we started spending more on recruiting than we do on marketing, and that had never happened before. But like it's not a long shot, right? It totally makes it makes total sense. Our employees are way more valuable than our customers are. Not that our customers aren't valuable, but
of course,
right now, if we don't have employees, it doesn't matter how many customers we have lined up at the door.
And I imagine there's a couple of things happening too, because the supply is diminished across the board. So more consumers are calling, more companies trying to find somebody. You're probably spending less now to find a client than you did, say, a couple of years ago, right?
Say that again. I was reading Angie's comment. I totally got distracted.
You're probably spending less now to find a client than you did a couple of years ago. Because
costs like
there's no supply.
Yep. And everybody, like, they're knocking down your door to find somebody that can even come and clean their house, right? They're just searching for somebody that has the capacity. In one of our locations, we had a wait list going. We called some people back like 3 months later and like, oh my God, thank God you called. Like 3 months, you couldn't find anybody else. Like, that's like, man, like let's keep hiring. Let's keep hiring. Yeah. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
All right. So Angie has a good question. So this is a question that we run into all the time throughout all of the years, decades now, Tom, right? We've been dealing with doing some training, and we run into both sides of this question. Like, I don't know when to hire. Like we're doing this all the time. We're hiring and then we're taking on jobs, and then we're hiring and we're taking on jobs. But you have to do both at the same time. One pushes the other. They keep each other in check. If you continue to hire or recruit, in this case, if you continue to recruit and you're getting people, that forces you to generate sales. And if you're generating sales, that forces you to have more people to work. So one answer is do both at the same time. Don't let this happen, because this, that is so hard to recover from, right? You have to have them going together at the same time. It's easier to move. That's one thing. And then the second thing is, part of this is a mindset. When we're bringing people on, we tend to think, not everybody, but maybe you, Angie, maybe not, you might have a tendency to think that every single person that works for your company needs 40 hours a week, or whatever your number is, 35 hours a week. And now, more than ever before, we're finding people that are really, really happy not to work 40 hours a week. So you can get a lot more flexibility.
Yeah. And Dan was talking earlier about all the different technologies that they're using in their business now that they haven't used in years past. And, that's just the direction it's going. And technology more and more is becoming a bigger part of the strategic investment that successful home service businesses, cleaning businesses are going to make. And, there's tools out there that make it easier to find an extra job to fill in if you have a technician that needs an extra job, or to do your production planning in a way where you can let somebody have a day off if you don't have work for them. If you have the right technology in place, that makes it a whole lot easier to react to those day-to-day ebb and flows and shifts and last minute things that happen where, a technician calls out sick last minute, or a customer cancels last minute, or you have more customers one week and you have the next week. You can manage that a whole lot better now than you could a few years ago with the technology that's on the market.
Yep. We so Liz, you got to one thing that I think is the magic formula of running any home service business. And like for sure maid service, but plumbers, window cleaners, lawn care people, and any home service business, the magic formula is capacity equals demand. And the more that formula is wrong, the more your life sucks. The more you have too much capacity, too many cleaners, and not enough customers, like you said, Liz, all of a sudden you're like swinging on the pendulum one way, and then the more customers you have and the less cleaners you have, the worse it is. And you're driving a vehicle with two gas pedals. There's no brake pedal. You just have two gas pedals. One is recruiting and one is marketing, and you can't just push one without pushing the other. You have to push both. And there's nothing wrong with having a wait list. We had 30 some people on a wait list in our Cleveland location. So let's find a wait list client. We're trying to go find you a good cleaner. We trained like 4 cleaners that all didn't work out, one after the other. It was like, oh, it was Jones way. Oh, no, never mind. She just wasn't a good fit for us. And then we finally got them and we called them and the client signed up. And to the always be recruiting, there's nothing wrong with getting a whole bunch of applications and doing interviews, even when you don't need to hire somebody. Go build the relationships. Go know who your next hire is going to be. Even if they encourage them, like, hey, I can't hire you right now. I'm just still interviewing because I want to know who I'm going to call when I have my next 20 clients and I have a full-time job for you. Or like Liz said, maybe it's even a part-time job because you only want 20 hours. I'll go find you 10 clients real quick and fill up your part-time schedule. But there's no harm in going and building those relationships and having a list of 30 people that you've already talked to and assessed. And you're going to send them the email the minute you're like, hey, we need our next employee who's ready to go. Even if they're at another job, they might not like it. They might come like they wanted to work for you. They already talked to you. So don't stop recruiting and interviewing, and don't stop marketing. Build the hopper, build the list on both sides.
Yeah. And that's both. The answer to that is yes, Trisha. Yes.
I like it.
It is the egg before the chicken, and it is the chicken before the egg. The other thing I was going to say, back to that mindset issue that I was talking about, Angie, there are just a lot of different ways to look at a problem. It's not just, okay, I have too many people. Maybe you bring people in as floaters. Maybe you put them on a wait list intentionally so that they get that FOMO feeling. They start feeling like, it's a good job. Dang, and I didn't measure up. I can't wait until I do. There are a lot of different ways to look at recruiting and people that you potentially are bringing into your company. Oh, and I see you have another one. Didn't seem right. All right, I'm going to pop this one up for you too, Angie. How do you know they'll be a good fit? I'm currently doing test days and see how they clean on the first day. Didn't seem right. So you have to let us know a little bit about how you're doing that. If you're not paying them, I could see that could be a problem. Or if you're paying them too little, or if you're asking them to leave a job to come test your job for a fit, and then they don't have a job, I can see why that would be a problem. But I know there are a lot of ways to do sort of test days.
Take a day off of their real job to come do a test day.
Yeah.
You can pay them as a subcontractor, and not if they make it and you've paid them under $600, like you don't need to send them a 1099. So you basically bring them on as a subcontractor as a test, and then if they make it, then you do the W-4 and bring them on as an employee after that. So you can do that.
Tell us why it didn't seem right, Angie. We could probably guess all day long, but let us know about that. What didn't seem right to you?
Yeah. I do. So as to like how to know if they're a good fit, I think that's where like our recruiting service helps a ton, because it assesses them. And well, we don't call it an assessment anymore. I don't know if Sean told you guys that. We now call it like a job success predictor. It's still an assessment, but people don't like to be assessed or examined, right? So it's like, are you going to love this job? All the questions are geared towards, are you going to love it here? We don't want you here if you're not going to love it. So when we do recruiting, they're filling out, they're answering some questions, and they're getting scored. And that tells us, are they going to be a good fit? Now, we're still going to get plenty of people that no-show. We're still going to get plenty of people that we hire, and we're like, well, nope. And there's nothing wrong. Like our mantra is hire fast and fire faster. It used to be like hire slow, fire fast. No, just like hire them. And if they don't work out, fire them. There's nothing wrong with it.
That's me. That's my motto too.
Yeah, it's the test day, but like bring them on as an employee and then fire them 2 days later. That's fine. Have an automated way to do it, so you're not like filling out paperwork with everybody, because that is awful for everybody. But like just bring them on, and if they don't work, the sooner you can fire them, the better. And then, but just go hire 3 people all at once instead of just one, and then you're like waiting to find the next one.
Mel Kleiman wrote the book, Hire Slow, Fire Fast.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a guest sometime in the next month or so, isn't he? I think I saw his name out there. Yeah. So we'll have to ask him about your theory, Dan. Like in 2022, do you just hire fast and fire faster? Everything's happening faster now, right? I like that.
It's gotta.
And everything is different now, right? So that is another really, really valid point. That I was talking to somebody today, and they said, well, they're having a lot of problems with hiring, and they didn't have problems before. And I said, well, what's different now? And he said, nothing. I'm doing everything exactly the same. I said, well, that's your problem.
There you go.
Because 2.5 years ago, we lived in a different world than we live in today. The people that are out there looking for jobs today are not the same people that were out there, 2.5 years ago. So it's you got to be doing stuff differently than you were before. So
yeah.
Trisha's got a question for you here, Dan. Do you recommend hiring on the spot when you interview?
I do, because the interview is useless. I am the number of people that I've interviewed that I thought would be a great fit and weren't, massive. The number of people that I've interviewed and I thought they'd be a terrible fit, but I just needed somebody and I hired them. I was like, holy smokes, they work. Like, an interview is only what they want you to see. And some people are really good at interviewing and some people suck, and it has nothing to do with how good they're going to be at your job, which is why I like having the database questions before we even interview them. We stopped doing interviews. Instead of doing an interview, we do a sales pitch. We already scored them. We already know whether they're going to be a good fit or not, just based on the data. And again, we're gonna weed out people that would have been a great fit, and we're gonna bring in some people that aren't going to be a good fit. And that's kind of the nature of the beast when you're trying to automate stuff. But in our process now, instead of us interviewing them, we invite them to what they think is an interview, but we invite 20 people to it, and 5 to 10 show up, and then we do a group sales presentation. So we don't ask them any questions. We just talk about our culture, our core values. We tell our origin story. Here's how we got started. Here's what we're all about. We show them our CRM. Here's what a day in the life of Tyler looked like this week. Here's what he did. Here's how much money he made. Here's how he got paid. Here's the good parts of the job. Here's the not so good parts of the job. We basically just do a sales pitch on why we think we'd be a great company to work for. we already know that they like got examined in a way or assessed in a way that we know they're going to be a decent fit for this type of job. Now we really actually just need to screen for, do they align with our core values, and do they vote themselves in? Because if they love our culture and love our core values, then they're going to be so appreciative of the job that we have to offer. But if it's just us chasing them and trying to like say, are you good enough to work here? Then like the ball's in the wrong court. So we do the sales pitch and then we just have them leave. We're like, hey, you know all about us. If you think you're going to absolutely love it here, and this is something you can make a career out of, when you get into your car, shoot us a text message and we'll figure out next steps. Or if you don't think this is a place you're going to love it, that's fine. Not everybody's meant to clean houses. Not everybody's meant to clean windows. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you letting us, teach you about our business. And that has worked so much better to attract and retain awesome people.
So, the primary focus of today's discussion was on creating value, which was like in the bookkeeping side. But really, if you don't have enough technicians to do the job, you're not going to be creating any value either. So we're covering it from both angles. Dan, we've got like a minute or two left. This is your website, isn't it?
This is the one. This is what we call home.
You want to share a little bit about your business and how people can get a hold of you and the things that you can do to help them?
Yeah, absolutely. So you probably already guessed it if you've been listening to the show, but like we didn't start this administrative service company because we're like, how can we like take money from business owners? We run 3 maid service businesses and 2 window cleaning companies. And by accident, we started helping other people like Liz or Tom or any of us hire more employees so they could get over those problems. Or because I'm a nerdy bookkeeper, which you can probably tell from hearing me talk, we started doing bookkeeping for people because they thought it was something their CPA should be doing. And I was like, no, it's better to have somebody just like you doing it that just knows a little bit about accounting. So we do recruiting for other small businesses to help them find employees. And we do bookkeeping for other small businesses to help them make better decisions and make more money. So if you go to the website, yourblueskies.com, you can see the little get started button on Tom's screen there. And basically you hit that and it'll bring you to a demo. I think right now, if you hit it, it goes to my calendar. If you want more on the recruiting side, then you can go to services and hit recruiting. And then there'll be a spot to sign up for a recruiting demo with Sean.
And I also see you have some badass free resources.
Yeah, I told our website guy, I want that tab to be called Badass Free Resources.
Good job. I like it. It's making me want to go there really bad. All right. So Angie, I do want to say that go check out those badass free resources. It's probably going to help you with your questions. And then also you might consider going to wwld.live and join us on Tuesday for What Would Liz Do .live, and we can answer all your questions live.
And I see that we dropped a link in chat as well to the Blue Guys website. There's also a link there for Smart Business Moves calendar. If you haven't downloaded that, download it. You can put it in your calendar so you can kind of keep up with when Smart Business Moves is. I don't know if your Tuesday show's in there. If not, it needs to be. It will be. Download the calendar. It'll be helpful. Okay, I think we're done. Are we done for today?
Angie's going to be talking with Dan, so enjoy.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks,
Dan,
Tom.
thanks so much.
For having me on.
Thank you, Dan.
I feel like we could have talked for at least another hour. We were all talking really fast.
It'd be so dangerous. It'd be so dangerous. We could go for hours and hours and hours.
You'll have to come back in June and tell us how your fishing trips went.
Oh, I'm in. Sign me up. Let's get it on the calendar.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Victoria, you heard that.
Thanks again. We'll be back next Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern. Till then, bye-bye.
And the month will be over. Check your numbers.